Hell yeah! What is going on, everybody? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy DKEN, and welcome to my incredible podcast. Now, before we commence this episode, do not forget to Hulk smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys and your families, follow me on Instagram, smash that bell notification button, and of course, as always, please sit back and enjoy. Let's get started. Our top story for today shall be most men are invisible to females in general. Now, this is based on an article titled Women Find 80% of Men Unattractive, says Crazy Study. I know I featured this article on part 2 of American Females Get Your Shit Together, one of my previous episodes on this podcast, but this episode will be based solely on this article. I also know that I've mentioned the 80-20 rule and the 90-10 rule several times on this podcast, and I will continue to bring up these rules so that everybody is on the same page. For starters, I will begin by putting up the article on the screen as I read this to you out loud. Here we go. It starts with, and I quote, "Women are often thought of as picky, especially where men are concerned. Some single women are known to have lists of characteristics that their ideal man must possess, like great abs, a sense of humor, a six-figure income, and a nice car. When a woman meets a potential mate, she has to decide which of these traits are deal breakers and which she can let go." So right away, we're only a few sentences in, and the first paragraph tells you everything you need to know. And I must say, the author of this article did a good job with the opening statement. Females have been picky for a long time, and that's biology 101. But let's dive deeper. The females that are single tend to be average looking. She doesn't have her whole life together. She's struggling in some areas. And she says, I want a man who's 6 feet tall, six-packing, makes a six-figure income, has a 6-inch schlong. Here's how I would react to that. Bitch, what do you have to bring to the table? Like, other than your peace sleeve, what can you bring to the table? Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you give me a decent blowjob? Are you good in bed? Are you fit? Are you physically attractive? Are you feminine or masculine? These are questions that we need answers to. If you have at least one bloody red flag about yourself, we need to know about it. We also need to know your sexual history because it matters on what your body count is. And for those of you that want to get into your emotions and argue that what I said was misogyny, again, cold, hard facts do not care about your lame-ass emotions. We care about who you slept with because it will give us a lot of intel as to who we are dealing with. We need to know if she has integrity, loyalty, honesty. These are traits that we are looking for in a decent woman, a good woman. Keep all of that in mind as we progress in this article. Let's resume. It continues on, and I quote, "No matter how selective a woman might be, some have strict physical attributes from their must-haves list. As an OkCupid study found that women find 80% of men unattractive." Actually, it does matter as to how selective a female is, because if she is turning down too many men, chances are she turned down a good man that meets most, if not all of her criteria. But her problem is that she cannot see that. It's a shame. This is a damn good reason why all of you men out there should not be on dating apps. For those of you boys out there using dating apps, and you know who you are, get the fuck off of them right now, because no self-respecting man should have any business on a dating app. Like I said in one of my previous episodes, those things are designed to cater to the needs of these modern self-entitled and narcissistic females. Those apps are using you so you can contribute your hard-earned money to females you've never met in your lives. You don't know if a bunch of them are fake profiles. You don't know if a lot of them are made up, and y'all boys are in there looking for your dream woman? I've got news for you. Stop living in whatever Disneyland fairy tale you're in. Come back to Earth and understand that there is no such thing as a happy ending. That's what these apps want you to believe. Marketing 101. It's a way to grab your attention using a product that they know will interest you, and you will be stupid enough to buy into that fantasy bullshit. Anyways, let's continue with this article. It continues on, and I quote, "On the other hand, when it comes to actually making contact with a potential date, women shift their expectations only minimally ahead of the curve, which is better than the males who go after the women that are way out of their league. With basic ratings so off kilter, the two curves suggest some unique interpretations of the female thought process. The most striking one is that the average-looking female believes that most men aren't hot enough for her, but she decides to message them anyway." This is intriguing. Notice how the author said that the average-looking female, in which I would say she would rate anywhere from a 4 to a 7, acts in a way that 80% of men around her are not worth the time of day. Well, first off, any female that has an average status would never be worth my time. Let me tell you that. I would look the other direction and not even look at her. Matter of fact, nowadays, most of the females that I come across usually fall into this average category, between a 4 to a 7. And most of them are 49ers. They're not even that good looking. And keep in mind, I live in San Diego, and a lot of these females are not even that presentable. They may look attractive physically, some of them, but when you start interacting with them, they will start doing things and say things that turn you off immediately. They start talking like men. Their voices are masculine. They start swearing like fucking sailors. They start shifting the conversations onto themselves. They start a public debate over something that is not even that big of a deal. All of the things that I just mentioned are only several examples of many things that the average females do to turn us off. Anyway, let's progress with this article. It continues on, and I quote, "To show that some women may be operating on a very different scale, OkCupid shared some pictures of men who are fine looking, some might say cute even, but that women have rated them as significantly less attractive than the so-called medium." Now, these images are part of the article. These are examples of men that females tend to overlook. These are the kind of guys that females are choosing not to spend time with. And check this out. The last paragraph says, and I quote, "Okay, maybe none of them are Ryan Gosling, but if they weren't Ryan Gosling, would you still rate them high on the hot meter?" From this, one might think that it's the female, not the male, who has unrealistic standards of what the average male should look like. It seems like women are way beyond picky. Again, this is Biology 101. Females have been very selective with the men that they choose to be with. Therefore, since they have high standards towards us men, then we will do the same thing. We will have high standards of our own, and we will choose which female is worthy enough to spend time with us. We need to start making rules for the females to follow, because females tend to break rules for the alphas, and they make rules for the betas. You may have heard that saying before. That's the way it works. Here are certain rules that all females need to follow, and these are just several of the many rules that we can make. Let's say you get a phone number from a female. You tell her to come over to your place to have a nice time. If she ignores your text, automatic disqualification. Or if you call her and tell her to come on over and she ignores your phone call, automatic disqualification. Let's say you want to hang out with a female in a bar for one drink and one drink only. If she starts doing something and or saying shit that turns you off, automatic disqualification. It could be anything ranging from having a masculine voice, ordering appetizers and or dinner when you only agreed to having one drink and one drink only. She never asks you how your day has been. She starts focusing the conversation on herself during the whole interaction. She doesn't ask questions about you. She invites her female friends over to the hangout. Now that one is a bloody red flag and a deal breaker combined, because she's trying to cock block you. Or how about this one? She invites her beta male orbiters over to the hangout when it's supposed to be you two alone. That's another deal breaker and a bloody red flag combined. These are all things that you need to pay very close attention to. In conclusion, let me get some main points across. 1. Females, stop being too fucking selective. And you know who you are. Y'all females find 80% of men unattractive. After getting ran through more times than a Holland tunnel and getting tossed aside like a piece of garbage, you end up saying this.
What happened? Where did all the men go?
You end up blaming all men when you were too busy getting piped down by the Chads and the Brads and the Tyrones. Stop blaming all men for your bad decisions, which leads to number 2. Learn how to take ownership of your own fuck-ups. Y'all females do not want to do that. I promise you, mark my words, that will hurt you further down the road. You don't believe me now, and that's okay. You will learn the hard way. 3, and I know I said this in the past, lower your high-ass standards and have a more humble approach towards men. I'm not telling you to get rid of all of your standards. Just take it down just a few inches. I see this every time I go on social media. The average-looking female wants a man who's at least 6 feet tall, making at least 6 figures, six-packing, 6-inch long. Your standards are all the way up in outer space, and it's caused a lot, if not most men to quit. They gave up on females. Like I said before, when y'all females are in your 30s, you will end up saying this.
What happened? Where did all the men go?
You only have yourselves to blame. 4. Gentlemen, you have the right to have standards. You have the right to set rules for all females to follow. I've already mentioned several examples. Use them to your advantage. We have got to step up and take a stand. If any female refuses to follow your rules, disqualify her on the spot and tell her to go home and have a nice life. Delete her number, delete her messages, delete everything about her and move on. You have the power to do that. Now, with all of that said, this concludes this episode of my incredible podcast. So thank you very much for watching. Do not forget to Hulk smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys and your families, follow me on Instagram, smash that bell notification button, and every single one of you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace out.